What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're getting into episode 26 of my season predictions video. Today it is the Washington Commanders. We are almost done with this thing. We are on the NFC East now. We have done the Dallas Cowboys. Washington is the next team up. It's a whole new year for the Commanders here. They got Sam Howell. Maybe some expectations are a little bit down for this Commanders team, but I think this Commanders team has some potential this season if Sam Howell can live up to. If he can play well, because he has a chip on his shoulder. Don't forget that this guy got slipped to the 5th round. I think that was absurd. I think he should have gone much higher than that. He has a very big chip on his shoulder, so we'll see. Let's see what I think about this Commanders team in general, though, in these predictions here. Starting out here with the Cardinals, I do think that the Commanders win that one in week 1. That's a pretty easy win to start out the year. I do think that the Broncos get them, though. That's a tough road game. The Broncos will win that one, in my opinion. And then they have a very tough game against the Buffalo Bills. I don't see that one being a win. The Buffalo Bills are going to beat Washington. And then they got the Eagles. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles in that one as well to beat the Commanders. And I think Washington falls to 1-3. Then they had to go right back on a Thursday Night Football, a good game against the Bears. But I'm going to give this one to the Commanders at home. Thursday Night Football game. I know they're coming off a loss. I think that Sam Howell and this Commanders team will have just enough to shut down Justin Fields. This Commanders defense is still pretty decent. I think that they can do enough against Justin Fields to get the win. Moving on, this one I was torn on originally for the Commanders. Could they potentially get this win and advance on to 3-3 on this year? I was actually debating just putting this one as a tie, but I don't like to do ties in these season predictions. So I'm just going to give this one to the Falcons. I think that they're slightly the better team coming off at home. I know the Commanders are coming off a Thursday game, so they would be well rested, but I do think it's not going to be enough. I think that the Falcons are just the better coach team and have the better offense in general. And this defense for the Falcons, I think, can step it up. So I'm going to give this one to the Falcons. But like I said, I was torn on giving this one to the Commanders. But moving on, we have the Giants here. And I think that the Giants should be able to win this one pretty handily. That's going to be a tough road game. The Eagles, I think, will sweep the Commanders this season in Week 8. Moving on to Week 9, they got the Patriots. I think that the Patriots are just clearly the better team, and they'll be able to get the win against Washington. Now we move on to the Seahawks here. In a road game against Seattle, I don't think that's going to go their way. I think that they drop another one to fall to 2-8 on this season. Moving on, Week 11, I actually do think that the Commanders can pull off an upset win and get one against the Giants, at least get one win against New York. That's going to be a tough game, but I do think that the Commanders get the job done. Next up, we have the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. I think that the Cowboys beat Washington there. That's going to be a very tough game on Thanksgiving for them. Moving on, we have the Dolphins in Week 13. Another game I was tempted to pull off maybe a slight upset victory there. The Dolphins could be a team vulnerable to an upset at that point on the year, but I do think that they would be able to pull some things together and pull off a win to advance for the Commanders to fall to 3-10 heading into the bye week. Very late bye week for Washington. Kind of unfortunate that they got that late of a bye, but we're moving on here to the Rams, and I'm going to give this one to the Commanders. I do think that they can go to Los Angeles and pull off an upset win, at least get that one for them. But then 3 very tough games to end out the year. I do think that they lose to the Jets in Week 16 right there. And then they have the Niners. I don't see that one being a win, and I do think that they get swept by the Cowboys, so lose 3 straight to round out the season. But the Commanders, I do think, finish off with a record of 4-13 on the season. I think Commanders fans might be expecting more. But I respect Commanders for this season for what they're trying to do. They're trying to fix this quarterback position who it's really been a mess for the Commanders for a very long time for this Washington team. And bring in Sam Howell, give him a chance. Am I betting that Sam Howell's going to fix this team all in general? No, I'm not. But do I think that Sam Howell could be a breakout star this season? I think he could. I think there's a chance. I think there's a possibility, a much better than one than I think a lot of people are making out to be. This Commanders team still has some weapons with Scary Terry. This offensive line, not really good at all, but the defense is still pretty solid. I know they lost some pieces there, but it's still not the worst defense in the world. And I think that this Commanders team might be getting slept on. Am I sleeping them on them for giving a 4-13 record? Probably. I'm just going to say that I think that the Commanders have more potential than that. I think my bet is that this Commanders team is going to fall apart, and I think that it's time to move on from Ron Rivera. But, like I said, I could see a world where this Commanders team really plays well and is just the mediocre team that we usually see them out to be, but this time with some hope with Sam Howell and him be a breakout player this season. But anyway, let's just look at some of these things. As I mentioned, finishing 4-13 on the season, not very good. That's one of the worst records in my predictions, but it is what it is. The Commanders have surprisingly a little bit of a tough schedule here, actually. A lot of their tough games are at home, and I usually would just give like this Niners game is at home, the Dolphins game at home, and then some of their winnable games are on the roads, like the Falcons you see here, the Patriots, some of those type of games, and it just kind of was a mess there for Washington. But yeah, anyway, that is that. They do finish 1-5 in the division, 4-8 in the conference. That means that they didn't win a single game in the AFC. They finished 0-5 in the AFC. They do finish 3-5 at home, which isn't bad. But then they go 1-8 on the road, which is not good at all. But anyway, guys, that is my Commanders predictions. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Comment down below your thoughts. And anyway, guys, peace out.